I stood there, eyes locked with hers as she raised her glass, a smug smile curling at the edges of her lips. "To my husband, the biggest loser I've ever known," she declared, her voice laced with mockery. The laughter that followed shattered me. In that moment, I realized everything I believed in was a lie. I had it all. Or so I thought. My business was thriving, my career unquestionably successful. But every night, when I came home to her, it felt like nothing I did could ever be enough. She'd wait for me, dressed to kill, always beautiful but distant. And there I was, trying to make everything perfect. The dinners, the vacations, the gifts. But no matter what I did, her eyes remained empty, as if searching for something more, something better, something I couldn't give. But the truth was far worse than the void she hid behind those perfect smiles. And tonight, at that party, in front of everyone who mattered to me, was the moment it all came crashing down. The moment I realized something was wrong wasn't when she insulted me in front of our friends. That was just another petty jab, another reminder of the kind of woman she had become. No, it was a message on her phone. I had always respected her privacy. I never went through her things, never snooped through her phone. But something that night, it was an unease, a gut feeling, that urged me to check. Maybe it was the drink, or maybe I was just sick of pretending everything was fine. But there it was, a message that would change everything. "I can't wait to see you tonight. It's been so hard to stay away from you." At first, I thought it was a mistake. I looked at the name on the screen. Greg. My heart dropped, and I tried to shake it off. But the reality kept sinking in. I scrolled up, my fingers trembling, and found more. "I'll be home late. Can't let my husband find out." My stomach churned. She was cheating. Not just with anyone, but with Greg, the man who had been a friend of mine for years. The same Greg I'd laughed with over drinks, trusted with secrets. And now, my wife, the woman I thought I knew, was sleeping with him. I was no longer a man. I was a joke. And as I looked up at her across the room, smiling, her eyes locking with mine, I felt a hollow silence settle between us. The next few days felt like walking through quicksand. Everything felt wrong, distorted. I couldn't focus at work. I barely slept. The anger boiled inside me like an insatiable fire, but there was a larger, darker feeling underneath it all: betrayal. How could she do this to me? How could she mock me, humiliate me, and yet still act like nothing was wrong? I couldn't confront her, not yet. I needed proof. Proof that she wasn't just a liar, but a manipulator, a traitor. I couldn't allow myself to look weak. If she thought she could get away with this, I hired a private investigator. The investigator didn't take long. 2 weeks of surveillance, a few photographs, and a well-timed report. What I learned was worse than I could have imagined. My wife had been seeing Greg for months, rendezvous at hotels, late-night phone calls, intimate dinners under the guise of business trips. And Greg? He was already planning to leave his wife for her. He wasn't just a friend. He was a parasite. I couldn't sit back and do nothing. I started taking action quietly, behind the scenes. I opened a separate bank account, started siphoning off our shared savings, and consulted with an attorney about divorce proceedings. I wasn't going to let her take everything. I wasn't going to let her walk away unscathed. But I still needed to play my cards right. She had no idea what was coming. I began my plan quietly, the gears of my revenge moving like a ticking clock. I'd always been the responsible one, the one who handled the business, the one who made the hard decisions. She never thought twice about it, never asked questions. She didn't need to. She thought she had all the time in the world to destroy everything I'd worked for. One afternoon, I called her into our office. It was time to discuss our future. I handed her the papers that would change everything. She glanced at them, her face unreadable. Divorce papers. She started laughing, the sound cold, clipped. Is this what you've been planning? Really? She smirked, like she knew it was coming. You know what, you should be used to this by now. I've always been the one to hold the power in this relationship. I leaned back in my chair, steadying myself, fighting every instinct that told me to explode. You think you hold the power? Is that why you've been sleeping with my best friend behind my back? Her face froze. The blood drained from her cheeks, but she quickly regained control. What are you talking about? I could see the fear in her eyes. But it wasn't enough. I wanted her to know the depths of my pain. The weeks of questioning myself. The constant, gnawing doubt. I wanted her to feel the weight of her betrayal. I know about Greg, I said, barely containing my voice. And I know you've been planning to leave me for him. Her eyes widened. The public confrontation was carefully orchestrated. She never saw it coming. I'd invited everyone to a small gathering at a private club. Friends, colleagues, people she thought she could trust. What she didn't know was that I had set a trap. A carefully timed video that would destroy her reputation. As we were all gathered around, drinks in hand, I played the video. It wasn't just a recording of her and Greg, it was their entire conversation, the intimate moments they shared in their hotel rooms. The whispered promises, the lies about me, the plan to destroy everything I had. It played on the big screen, every word, every betrayal laid bare for everyone to see. Her face went pale as the video ended. The room was silent, no one daring to speak. But she didn't leave. She didn't even try to deny it. Her mask of control had shattered. And for the first time, I saw her for what she truly was, a woman desperate to hold on to her illusion of power, no matter who she had to destroy. The fallout was swift. Her friends, the people she had manipulated for years, turned on her. Greg? He ran, like the coward he was, abandoning her when it became clear I wasn't the only one who had been deceived. But it wasn't just about exposing her. It was about reclaiming what was mine. The business, the house, everything I had built. She would lose it all. She would leave empty-handed, without the luxury she had so carelessly flaunted. But the best part? It wasn't about revenge. It was about taking control of my life again. I was no longer a victim. I was a survivor. She came to me, desperate, begging for a second chance. Please, she cried, I made a mistake. I'm sorry. I looked at her, really looked at her. She wasn't sorry. She was scared. Scared of losing everything, of finally facing the consequences of her actions. But there was no room for forgiveness. Not anymore. I don't need you anymore, I said, and walked away, leaving her to pick up the pieces of her ruined life. I moved out of the house shortly after. I found a new place, a fresh start. The pain still lingered, but it no longer consumed me. I focused on rebuilding, on making my life something worth living again. I had learned a valuable lesson: no one holds the power over you unless you let them. I was stronger now. And I was free. They say success is the best revenge. But the real victory? Walking away with your dignity intact and leaving the broken pieces of betrayal behind.